All right, TV Talk fans, very exciting today. We have in the studio, you know him from a lot of things. He's currently on The Act on Hulu. Please welcome Calum Worthy.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
What's up, man?
Calum, thanks so much for coming by.
Well, thanks for having me. As I was telling us before this, I'm a huge fan of you guys.
Oh,
this is
thanks,
great.
man.
This is
Thanks.
a great company.
We're big fans of you. Obviously, the first time, at least the first time for me that I saw you was in American Vandal.
Oh, sweet.
And I live for that show. I was so bummed when they canceled it after season 2, but your season was awesome. You did a fantastic job. We can get into that later,
Yeah.
obviously. But we're talking about The Act today. Now, the first 4 episodes you're not in, and then you come in episode 5 and just kind of blow the doors off the place. You're good, man. This is an intense role.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
Yeah. So you went pretty method for this, apparently. Tell us about your process.
Yeah, I mean, because it's real people, and there's going to be people that have been involved in the actual crime itself watching this, I felt like we had a responsibility to get it right, or as close to right as we possibly could. So I dedicated 2 months leading up to the first filming of my episode, just dedicating myself to Nick and researching him. And he's autistic, is on the spectrum. And I spent time at a research center, and I spent time talking to specialists, and I read about 5 books about the subject, really trying to make sure I was exhausting every possible resource for research.
Wow.
Did you join a dating website as a way to learn it a little bit?
I did, and my girlfriend got very, very mad. She's like, "This research gone too far, way too far."
Yeah, I mean, how did you come to the role in this show? I mean, you're working with some pretty heavy hitters here. You've got Patricia Arquette leading the force, and then you're playing with Joey King a lot.
Yeah.
So just what brought you into the show?
I was just auditioning for it.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just straight up audition, and I'm very grateful to the producers for considering me, because I think this is something that's definitely a departure from the stuff I've done before.
Yeah.
And for them to even consider me.
Did you know a lot before even the audition process, or was this one of these things that just kind of popped up on, in a casting, and you were like, this is what it looks like? Did you do much research even before you went in the room?
I did a lot of research before I went in the room. I got the audition I got the email like 3 days before the actual audition, and I did nothing but prep this character.
Wow.
I really wanted to get it right, just because I enjoyed it so much. I really enjoyed getting in this guy's shoes and seeing how he approached the world. I knew about the case beforehand, but not a lot. Yeah. I only knew the general headlines.
You're not like my wife, who listens to every true crime podcast ever,
No,
so she knew about this from a true crime podcast.
Yeah, my girlfriend was the same thing.
Okay.
She knew more about it than I did when I first signed on to it.
Wow. Did working with Joey and Patricia Arquette and all that kind of a situation, did you guys talk a lot about the case when the cameras weren't rolling? Like, was it?
Yeah, I couldn't believe how. I came into this about a third of the way through the filming process, so I was really eager to talk about it because I've been doing my own research. And I got on set and I was like, oh, they're probably over it. They've already been filming for 2 months, and everyone was still talking about it. The whole cast and crew at lunch would just talk about this case and talk about the complexities of it, and just debate about what they thought about it.
Did you because I know method actors can sometimes get like a bad rap on certain things and whatever. Did you ever feel, like you said, 2 months leading up to prep, did you ever feel like maybe I'm going a little too far?
Not really,
Okay.
because I never let it get weird. It was really, I don't even know if necessarily call it method per se. I think I didn't stay in character 24/7. I just really wanted to rehearse as much as possible, and put myself in certain situations that he might have been in, and just to see what that's like, so I could use that muscle memory.
Yeah.
So really, it was more research than anything. Like at night, I wouldn't stay in it, and at lunch, I would break out of it and stuff.
Did you have any I always feel like when I get, it could be anything, stress from jobs, stress from whatever. Do you ever have dreams as him?
I had some really crazy dreams throughout this. I don't know if I dreamed as him, but I had some crazy dreams during this process.
How the subconscious works like that.
Yeah. I mean, I made his picture the background on my phone, so I'd always remember. And and the reason why I did that is
Your girlfriend loved that one too, right?
She loved that. Yeah. I took the photo of us together in Palm Springs and popped this one on.
Sorry, babe. It was a great weekend, but
this guy's special. So I did that because I wanted to have a picture of him from before the crime actually happened, because I knew that he lived a lot of life before then, and I didn't want this character to be defined as just a criminal. I want him to be a full, complex human being.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Totally.
Yeah. So now the show is coming. Now it's out, and people are starting to see your performance. Have you started to get any feedback from people, like people you've worked with before, or fans on the internet? Have they started to be like, "Oh, wow, I didn't know you were going to do this"?
Yeah, it's been nice. I mean, I try not to look too much into it because it's I don't want I don't know. I don't want to get in my head around it.
Yeah.
But the feedback seems to be fairly nice and positive. And
Was this one of those roles though that like a parent or like you said, your girlfriend, you're like, this is gonna be a bit darker?
yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm still telling my mom to this day. I'm like, just so you know, when you watch this, it gets very dark and intense. There's a lot of crazy scenes you're about to see.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were reading the script and you got to some of those kind of, as they call them, oh shit moments, where you're like, oh, man, this is a lot.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because on any other project, I would have hesitated at some of the bits that I had to do. And some of those scenes I probably would have talked to the producers about seeing if we could do it a different way. And I just loved this script so much, and everything felt like it needed to be in there for a purpose, that I was just game for all of it.
Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
There's something about this show, and I don't know if it's because listen, we were talking about it yesterday. It's almost like if it's a true story, the audience buys into it immediately, right? You lead off with like based on true events or based on a true story, and you know, again, I bring up my wife again. She always is one that Googles the picture as well, what the people actually look like, and like the whole, the grindhouse of what the story is and everything like that. So each person that comes in, you see this whole thing. Is there something to be said about it, a story that is true versus maybe if this wasn't a true story, how finding maybe that character would be totally different?
For sure. I mean, I think that these characters are characters that you haven't really seen on TV before, because I think if you're just to write them, people may not believe that so many interesting characters would exist in the same story.
Right.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Especially with how they sound, like in terms of like Nick has a very distinct voice, Gypsy has a very distinct voice, so does Dee Dee. Everyone sounds very specific. And I think a lot of the times we'd get notes if it was just a standard show not based on a true story. The notes from the network would be like, make sure to kind of tone that down a little bit. But since it was real people, we're able to just commit fully.
I never thought about that like that, where the network can't really give you notes like, hey guys,
That accent's
this
not
is
working.
the story. Like, this is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you just pull up the clip. Like, this is actually what they talked like.
Yeah, you
and
wanna
this is
hear
real.
it? There you go.
Now, you have your roots in comedy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Did you bring any of that background with you into this project?
No.
All right, but moving on.
The stock answer would have been like, well, there are some aspects of comedy. That's beautifully said.
This
Yeah.
one,
Well done,
no,
well done.
not at all. This was a complete departure, and I really wanted to approach this in a different way than I'd approached any other role in the past. I think there are some moments that you could actually see as being funny or kind of a little comical here and there, but even those ones, I just really tried to make sure I never played into the comedy. I just wanted to be true to the script. Yeah. And I it's also because the actors were so good and so authentic that I was working with that you just wanted to just live and breathe in the scene and not really think about the beats.
I hate the word intimidation, but when you get in a room with somebody like a Patricia Arquette, there's got to be a little level of intimidation.
Oh yeah, my first day she got nominated for a Golden Globe. That was my first day on set.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, hey, nice to meet you. And she's like, thank you. And then like, she's got nominated for a Golden Globe. Are you ready? And I'm like, I guess so. Let's go for it.
Here we go. And do they start and before we go, everybody ready? And nominated for Golden Globe action. And this guy, go ahead, no problem.
Exactly. And this is how do you say your name? How do you pronounce it? Calum.
What I love The Act, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask a couple American Vandal questions.
I think we have to,
because we got it. So we're talking about walking in. We're talking about scripts. Did you feel like this was going to be something special when you were on American Vandal?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I didn't know. I didn't know that people would react in the way that they did to it. I mean, I was really stoked that people really seemed to dig it. But I remember thinking, this is something I really want to watch. Like, this is the kind of project I would love to watch on TV. Yeah. And being a part of that and knowing that Netflix actually wanted to make a show like that was really cool.
I bet.
Yeah. And it was also so edit heavy too that I didn't actually know the tone going in.
Oh, that's interesting. I feel like that first
question,
that first season they could probably play your interviews a little bit straighter.
Yeah.
And then cut it together after the fact, because so much of your piece is that straight to camera documentary interview style.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess they won a friggin' Peabody for season 1, so
Oh,
clearly, like the level of artistic talent they were bringing to the comedy was there.
Yeah.
But I could see it maybe on set you weren't really noticing it as much because it was kind of muted, and then the humor came after the fact.
Exactly. And I knew it was going to be something special when they said never play for a joke. Just be the character and treat this like a drama. And I thought, oh, thank God. That's the kind of project I want to be a part of right now.
Because the more pressure, they'd be like, you got to make that funnier. Like, okay.
There's that.
great,
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
And also I knew we would capture the essence of high school if we just played it real.
Right.
I feel like so many high school comedies, they just go so over the top or make it too broad. But this one, we're really trying to make it seem realistic. And high schoolers, by virtue of being awkward and a teenager, just are really funny.
Yes, 100%. Did you? Was there a point when you were shooting American Vandal where you were, or when you saw it, that you thought, "Man, I wish that part would have been in there that I said," or like one of these parts? Because a lot, like you said, a lot of it was on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Do you remember some things that you said in there that you wish? Because you're 100% is a meme. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, that's your, it is a GIF. I mean, it's everything. I use it in text threads all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
Were there things that were on the cutting room floor like, man, that was some real gold that I spun?
No, I think they got all of it in there.
Okay.
I don't really remember anything that I don't really remember stuff that wasn't in there.
Interesting.
In particular. Mostly because I was just trying to, in some ways, approach that in a semi-method way. Because with the interviews, we would film a lot of them at once.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd go through it and they'd actually they wouldn't go take like scene for scene. We would just roll an interview and they would just ask us questions and we would know the backstory.
Got it.
So we knew certain lines that we had to hit and then we would also do a little bit of improv as well.
Okay.
But in those moments, I just tried to stay in character the whole time. And I knew that's where we might be able to find some moments here and there.
Because I heard my buddy was in season 2, and he was saying that they did a ton of improv. A lot of it didn't end up in season 2, but I'm wondering like how thick that script looked versus what you actually got. Was it pretty much true to script then?
It was and it wasn't. Okay. The script was phenomenal. So I remember when they said we want to improv and add to it, I was like, I don't know, man. This is a pretty great script.
Interesting.
And that's actually when I knew we were making something special because I was like, if these guys with such a tight script want to improv just for other options, I'm like, they're going to really make something cool.
Yeah.
Because I think if I stick to the script and just say their lines, I think it's going to be awesome because they wrote such great lines. But when we went to improv, I think the improv made it seem
too farcical, or
more like a documentary, and just less like a TV show. It didn't seem like scripted lines.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Was there a we were talking about auditions before, and for the act and like the preparation for that. Did the audition come through and be like, it's a mockumentary about dicks on cars? Like, was that?
Well, you know what the funniest thing is, and I should do a special shout out to Wendy O'Brien who cast it because she did a great job.
Yeah.
And she brought me in and she said, so I had one scene that I prepped where it was me talking about seeing dicks on cars, but there was no detail. It wasn't even called American Vandal. It was just some untitled Netflix documentary and or mockumentary, and there wasn't even much detail about the character or what the storyline was going to be. So I knew there was a scene where there were dicks on cars, but I didn't really know what that meant. And so I did like the shh thing in the audition, and then she said, "I want you to improvise some dialogue about telling me about getting a hand job that you may or may not have gotten." And so I just improv talking about a hand job, and I'm scared if that footage were to come out of context. That would look terrible.
I would imagine there aren't many auditions where you're like, that was great. Now, could you improv a scene about getting a hand job? Great, and we're gonna roll that. And go.
Yeah. And shout out to Wendy for being so awesome in the room because she really made all the actors feel so calm and felt like we could. I just hit puberty. Did you hear that? Just now?
You nailed that.
Yeah,
so
I finally hit it.
Hey, got it.
But she did. She really made us all feel like we could just relax and talk about dicks.
Nailed it. So I want to go back to the act real quick because I had one question. Tell me the story about peanut butter and pizza as your only diet for a while.
So that was two of the foods that I knew he ate a lot of. Mm-hmm. And again, just trying to make sure I got into his shoes. I just wanted to do everything possible to get into the character and to make sure I was nailing him. And so I got to Savannah a week early, and they dyed my hair, so I was looking a bit different. Mm-hmm. And I found out that he ate a lot of pizza and peanut butter, and that was a lot of the food that he ate.
Wow.
So I thought,
sounds like 2004.
Yeah. So I decided for the week leading up to it, that's just pretty much what I would eat.
Wow.
Most of the time. I'd say like 90% of the time.
Wow.
Not for the whole shoot, just leading up to it.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I love peanut butter and I love pizza, but just that all the time, I could imagine you're like,
After a little while, you're like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd love a kale salad right now. The first time I said it.
I'm just picturing like a dollop of peanut butter on the pizza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Dessert pizza.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you were shooting in Georgia, or had you been there before?
No, I'd never been to Savannah. I've been to Atlanta a couple times just to visit, but I'd never been to Savannah.
Savannah's gorgeous. Pretty
Beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, well, congratulations on The Act, and I listen. The fans should be excited for the second half of this season, and a lot of that has to do with you because you crush it.
Oh, thank you.
And we're not going to give any spoilers or anything like that, but this is one of those shows that right now I know is flying a little under the radar, but it's gonna explode. And then by the time award season hits, this is gonna be one of those shows like you haven't seen The Act, get in on The Act because it is creepy good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for coming on Collider TV Talk, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and that's very kind of you to say, by the way. I really appreciate that.
And Calum Worthy, just tell the folks where they can find you and tweet at you and tell you how creepy you are.
They can find me at Calum Worthy on Instagram and Twitter, and you can check out Hulu or check out The Act on Hulu.
There you go. Guys, this is Collider TV Talk. Special thanks again to Calum Worthy for coming in.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.